Ready? Good afternoon, everybody. Calm Biker here on another quick lunchtime run, and I've got a topic for today, and it's kind of my first impressions of the IAM advanced training, advanced whatever you call it. I thought I'd do this one because it's a little bit different to what a lot of people think it is. I don't know if this is down to the local group, so I think there's quite a lot of variation between local groups of both the IAM and ROSPA. I don't know if it's that, or very kind, thank you very much, thank you, or if it's that this is just how it is and people have misconceptions. Because when I was talking very early in my rather short so far riding experience, I was talking about doing either enhanced or advanced with either IAM or ROSPA, and a lot of people said go for it. Some people said get a bit of experience under your belt first, then do it. Some people said it's a waste of time, you're better off just getting experience. People were saying that they had reservations about, I'll just say advanced, I mean IAM and ROSPA, it's just easier not to have to say them every time. But people had reservations about the advanced training for various reasons, and one of the reasons that came up was that people said they thought that the system, the mythical system, as both groups use the same IPSCA information, position, gear, information, position, speed, gear, acceleration, something like that. I'm early on it, I haven't learnt it all yet. It's the police system, the police roadcraft system of riding motorbikes. Both use the same thing. And people said to me that they believed that it was too prescriptive, and that in some cases it was dangerous. And I think one of the examples I was given was, imagine you're coming up to a left-hand bend and the IPSCA system says position yourself on the right-hand side of your lane and then you'll get the best view around the bend. And people said, well, in some cases that could be dangerous because somebody coming round the bend the other way who is cutting the corner could hit you, and you would have to tighten up your steering potentially dangerously to get out of the way. And I thought at the time that was a good point. Now, in reality, it kind of is a good point, except that that isn't what the IAM tell you to do, and I'm sure that ROSPA won't either. And the idea of the IPSCA system, it's the police roadcraft as well, is so I'm coming to this left-hand bend, I'm positioned on the right, and I'm going to follow it around to the right for the best view. If I see a car, I'll come into the centre of the lane. I might go right across to the left-hand side of the lane, depending on how many cars are coming the other way and whether one of them might decide to do an overtake and come into conflict with me and all that kind of stuff. But it's not even as much as that, because in certain cases you're actually advised not to go to the outside of that bend, where it is the type of bend that would be very, very tight for people coming the other way, who are then likely to cross over the central line. So I think the misconception that people have, and that I had to a degree before starting it, was that you had this IPSCA system for positioning and all that kind of stuff, and that you had to stick to it slavishly, rigidly. And actually that really isn't the case, and in the book and also in the training it's really clear that that isn't the case, that that's kind of a guideline for general use, but actually risk outweighs everything else in the system. So they say you follow the system except where your safety is put at risk by doing so. In the end, really what they're doing is giving you some good guidance for road positioning and that kind of stuff, and hazard awareness and all that kind of good news. But it's not a system that you're supposed to follow. It's quite a strange one. It's trying to give you the tools so that you can use your common sense and your logic to position yourself correctly and ride in a good way, a safe way. I suspect that probably some people have got that message that you've got to stick to these things rigidly because the training they've had has not necessarily been delivered correctly or received correctly. Hello, cows. Or because cow in the road. Or because they've only had a little bit of training, or they've just read the system and not picked up on the other parts of it. I mean, in general, and I'm only a couple of sessions in, but in general, I would heartily recommend this. Because, as I said before, doing the bike safe thing completely changed the way I ride. And I think that it has made me have a greater awareness of hazards and be more prepared to deal with those hazards. And the advanced sessions I've had so far have kind of been icing on the cake for that, because I think the first 2 sessions I had, those 2 days with the police and then with the enhanced instructor, made the biggest difference. That initial kind of, here's all the things that you could be doing better, and 2 days of quite intensive training, I think made a big difference. And hopefully this is now, the advanced stuff is now polishing that, if you know what I mean. But I'd heartily recommend it. Anything you can do to make yourself safer, I think, is a good idea. And I would also say that it's made me ride faster, bizarrely. The IAM are very keen, and apparently when you're getting examined, they're very keen that if you're in a 60 and it's safe to do so, you're doing 60. You know, you're doing the speed limit when it's safe. Obviously backing off if it's not safe. But yeah, so I would say I think it's really worth doing. When I did the bike safe, as I mentioned, there were people there with 20, 30 years of experience on a bike who said that they got a heck of a lot out of that. Whether those people, I'm talking too much, I should have just filtered to the front. But hey, I don't care. Yeah, some of those people were saying, 20, 30 years experience, and they really got loads out of it. And they felt safer, they felt like they were better riders after a couple of days. Whether with 20 or 30 years of experience under your belt the advanced will help you or not, I don't know. But if you're like me and you've got less than a year's experience under your belt, I think this is a great way of moving you on without having to rely on the fact that 10 years experience takes 10 years to get. And will I be as good as somebody with 10 years experience after this? Absolutely, probably not. Will I be a better and safer rider after doing this than I was before doing it? I'm personally convinced I will be. Anyway, that's my $0.02 on the subject. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll just say thank you for watching. Ride safe, everyone, and I'll talk to you all again soon.